Okay, it looks like we are live. So welcome everybody, and by everybody I mean nobody right now. This is the first ever episode of the People Cooler Than Me show, where I will interview literally anybody because anybody is cooler than me. So,
That's funny.
but we're not scraping the bottom of the barrel today because today we have. Well, actually, before I get to that, let me introduce my co-host Jared Gator. Jared, say hello.
Hi, what's up, everyone?
So Jared is a good buddy of mine and a coworker, and so I asked him to join us. He's also the tech guy, so that's actually the only reason I want him here is to help me with the tech stuff. Otherwise, I wouldn't have invited him. But
Ow.
That's funny.
okay, so obviously joking. Yeah, Jared is also cooler than me, so that's why he's here. So. With us today, we actually have Taylor from the Fabulous Journey, who actually is recently internet famous, I would say, because of a segment calling into the Ask GaryVee show, or the Gary Vaynerchuk web show. Where she called in to ask for some advice, and it got real, and it was raw, and it was awesome. So
Very real, very raw.
yeah, say hello, Taylor.
To be honest.
Yeah, so we appreciate you being on, Taylor. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for contacting me.
Especially since you're probably really busy in the past few days.
Yeah, I would say very little sleep. I've, on average, been up to at least 2 to 3, 4 a.m. I feel most productive at night. So, but that doesn't work for business hours because everything's closed. So I've been trying to spend my nights catching up on all the messages and emails and DMs that people have been sending me.
How crazy has it been? I mean, your that video segment is up to 50,000 views. I don't know if you noticed, but Gary Vaynerchuk has been pumping that video segment out through every platform he has. He's really, really excited about that segment. Obviously, just being a follower on social media. What's it been like?
Bad. Honestly, my life itself, I would say, is different just in the way that I operate every day. It got real. So basically what he said struck me in a different way than what I've heard it in the past. I have 2 entrepreneurial parents, so working is not something I think for the most part. Oh, did we lose you guys? Hello?
Hey, are you guys there?
Yeah, I think I lost you.
Oh, it's
Where'd you leave off?
The internets are trying to shut us down.
No.
So, yeah. All right. So
we have a problem with YouTube the other day too.
Yeah, he did actually. I think there's a conspiracy against Vayner Nation.
Oh no. Vayner Nation's always watching, guys. I've been told that 3,000 times in the past couple of days.
Trust me, nobody knows that better than you, I'm sure.
I don't think I ever realized how legit Vayner Nation is. Like, not only is it a community, which is super, super awesome. I've gotten a lot of people from Vayner Nation saying, we're watching you. We're going to see what you do. So it's been a little intimidating, but I mean, I'm taking it on. Like, I'm embracing it. So I'm just taking that and turning it into drive just to do even more. So
yeah. We definitely want to hear more about what you've been doing since the Epic segment. But one thing that I want to talk about is just what was it like? I mean, calling into this show that has such a large reach, and like, I mean, you had to have been shocked even just when he answered the phone. I mean, and what was it like when he started to get real? Because there was one point where I noticed that he sort of broke his normal character, and not that he plays a character, but he just sort of he got really sober and really serious there for a second and just said, can we talk about this? Can we talk about this? And I think it was when you were talking about following some of these celebrities, Kylie Jenner and them, and he said, can we talk about this? And he just got really real with you. What was that conversation like from your end?
Yeah, from my end, when he asked the question, I honestly drew a blank. Like, I could not think of anyone. So to me, I thought of the biggest person I could think of. So yes, it was a Kardashian Jenner answer, which probably wasn't the best answer because I got ripped to shreds from it. But on the spot, it was the only thing I could come up with. But that in itself, it's so true that we don't even realize how much we're following all these people with these lives where these photos are just portraying some of maybe like the best parts of their day, when in reality, that's not their whole life. Like there's 23 and a half other hours of the day that look probably completely different from that. So when he kind of laid it on me, it was more of like a really sobering moment because it was when I realized, shit, yeah, that's what I've been doing. So that's kind of what was going through my mind. And I watched that clip a lot, like maybe 5 times. I've watched it a bunch. And every time I watch it, I'm like, I didn't know what to say. Like everything he said was going right into me. Like everything after that just pierced me. And I was like, I got it. Like you broke down the wall of what was, I don't even know. I was just in my own head.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I could see that. That was one of the things that I thought was really cool about the way that you handled yourself in that segment, was just that you were clearly there to learn and clearly there to listen, and was very receptive to what he said, because this is a guy who does it every day. I mean, like, and he documents that, so we know it's true, but he does it every day. And it was really cool to see how open and receptive you are. So let's talk about that a little bit. What do you think that among our generation, with people who have these goals, everybody I know has a goal to buy the jets or to be a billionaire by 25, or like that's not like an outrageous thing for someone to say, because we hear it so often. But do you think that that's an issue among our generation, that we have these sort of lofty ideas that we never really have a practical plan to work toward? Or maybe we're not, like Gary said many times in the interview, that we're not enjoying the journey of actually trying to be in it every day. And do you think that that's something that we struggle with a lot as millennials, or is it something that we struggle with a lot of people? And can you talk about that a little bit?
I honestly think, like, I'll be honest, my goal is still to be a millionaire by 25, even though he said it.
Good.
That's still a goal of mine. I've had that goal since I was 16, but I think there's a big difference that, I mean, at least I've just realized in the last couple of days. When you have those goals and you're verbally saying that that's what you want, I think you have to like have the action to back your shit up. So
is that what you realized in that interview?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Because it's like, you can have all these goals and dreams and you can tell people about your goals and dreams, but if you're not doing the right steps, like executing, physically doing shit, then it doesn't matter what your goals and dreams are, because you're never going to hit them. Yeah. So for me, I'm a dreamer. Like, that's just how my mentality has always been. Like, shoot for the moon, get the stars, or whatever that saying is. But yeah, that's always how I've been. And I'll be honest, when I was younger, I hustled. Like, I was that girl at 14 years old with over $1,000 in my bank account while my friends had dick shit because they didn't work.
That's awesome.
Something happened, like, when college started, I didn't have a job anymore. I was just going to school and studying. And that's when everything, I guess, kind of changed, that I'm now just realizing when I'm talking to you. College, I didn't have a job. I wasn't hustling. I lost the hustle. So now that I'm done and now that I've graduated, I got to back my shit up again. But I think it's really important to have goals and things to strive for. And I think just being realistic, knowing that it's going to take baby steps, like do A, B, C, then you can do D. I think that's important to just know and actually execute on it.
So are you laying out the plan now? You've been called to task by Gary Vaynerchuk and the entire Vayner Nation. So you're getting all these messages. Are you starting to think a little bit more soberly about, okay, what would the steps take then? Oh, you're 22 now, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I turned 23 in May, so almost.
Oh no, you got 2 years then, right?
Yeah, not less time.
Oh, it makes it more fun though, right? So,
Yeah.
it's like, again, you got to enjoy the journey. So are you, what I would do in your situation then is maybe try to reverse engineer, okay, what will that look like at 25? And then what are the steps going backwards from 25 to today that I need to start taking, start laying out that plan. Is that how you're thinking of it?
That wasn't how I thought about it, but honestly, it's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Basically, what I'm doing right now is, I mean, obviously, I got a website up and I'm documenting my journey through. Gary Vee's always talking about documenting, so that's kind of what I'm doing for these 30 days. But the thing that I wanted to do was I want to start some sort of company, baby steps, but get it off the ground within these 30 days. That's my plan. I've actually gotten a lot of messages that are like, what's your business? Why don't you have one yet? Don't be unrealistic. You can't make a whole company in 30 days. Like, no, I'm not creating a whole company in 30 days. I'm starting the process. So, yeah, I think starting with that and then going from there and then building upon it every single day is kind of what the plan I put out.
I actually think that your plan is better, to be honest, because I think that the thinking 2 years out thing is still very impractical. Like, it's very difficult,
Yeah.
right? To think 2 years
My
out.
life is always changing. I mean, I didn't expect any of this, and my life's just changed again. So now I'm rerouting and figuring out what the next step is for me. But I feel like my life is never straightforward. I mean, life never is. So you always got to kind of just go with the punches.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to see if I could try to play a segment of the interview so people can know what we're talking about.
All right.
I want to see if this works. I honestly don't even know. Let's try to share this. There he is.
I've
guys
got
see?
blank screen. Oh, there it is.
Okay. All right. Are you guys able to hear it?
No, I'm not hearing
audio.
Okay. Okay, that's not gonna. Yeah, that's not gonna work. This is live TV, people. Live TV. We'll have to work out the technical issues of that in the future. But
Write that down.
it was it was the part of the interview that we already talked about. Just getting practical and thinking about that you're really one of the things he said in there was that every second that you take watching other people do what you're trying to do is a second that you're not working on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I just thought that was a really impactful part for people who want to see that. Gary actually cut it up into one video called "The Ultimate Advice for Every 20-Year-Old." And actually, let's take a look at it and just see. It has.
Yeah,
What's that?
I haven't seen that yet.
Yep. He cut it up and he put it out on Twitter, on Instagram, on his YouTube. I mean, he's done it, all probably 5-6 posts today just for this one segment. And guys, it really, I'm not just, a fanboy. Like, it really is a really impactful segment. It really, if you're going to watch an episode of Gary Vaynerchuk, I think that this is just an incredible segment. Just talking about getting real and getting your hands dirty and like Taylor said, just starting, just getting the process of starting, which is, I think, what so many people struggle with. I know myself have struggled with. And so let's talk about what you're doing now then. I'm gonna put up, this doesn't have sound, so this should work. I'm gonna put up your website here. Yeah.
Still a work in progress.
That's cool.
Did that within like 5 or 6 hours.
Oh wow, that's actually really impressive. I mean, are you guys able to see it?
Yeah, we can see it. Well, I can.
Yeah, I see it. This is actually pretty incredible. I mean, in 5 or 6 hours, are you using? I mean, you don't.
I use WordPress and I use a theme. I have zero coding knowledge. So for me, it was a lot of reading, I guess, the description manual, figuring out what I wanted it to look like, what I wanted to put in there. I designed a logo. I know how to use Adobe Illustrator and stuff, so that was pretty second nature for me.
Well, the logo is absolutely incredible. It's featured so prominently, and both Jared and I dabble in the graphic design and web design world. So,
Hey!
yeah,
Excited. I've
yeah.
never graphically designed something like that. So for me, that was the
You're
first.
kidding me. You're kidding me.
Yeah.
That's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, if you would have told me that, I would have never believed you. I mean, that's amazing.
Really? Thanks.
I legit thought you had like a professional friend do that. So
I love how it flows on the logo.
Yeah, I did that in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, I
figured the less time I spend on it, the more efficient I can be on something else.
That's been one of my things as a web designer. You wouldn't believe how many people trying to I need to put myself on here because people need to get this.
It's getting real.
as a web designer, like you wouldn't believe how many people who don't even have their first client, don't even have their whole business concept yet, come to someone like me and want to drop hundreds of dollars on a website. And it's like, dude, go out and get a free WordPress site with a free theme and like start somewhere. Yeah. And you don't need to invest all this time and money into a website. So that's my spiel, but it's crazy how many people I think what it is they want to delay the hard part, right? And the easy part is putting up a website. The easy part is spending tons and tons of time putting up a website instead of doing what you're doing, which is the practical, difficult work. So I commend you for that.
Thanks. Yeah. On top of that, I also think, because I know this was an issue that I had for the longest time, is I like to think it through to where once I start the process, it goes exactly how I planned it. And I think it's really unrealistic. And I think also if you just start with something, if your idea and what you're trying to do is good enough, people are going to look at it and they're either going to love it and accept it for as crappy as it might be when you first put it out there or not. So, I mean, it could be a good testing for the market too. Like, oh, I have a t-shirt design I want to do. Maybe they mock it up on Adobe Illustrator and then graphically just lay it on a t-shirt and like, hey guys, I have these t-shirts, pre-orders now. But they don't have shit yet. It'll test the market for them to see if it's even a good idea for them to spend money on actually buying shirts or not. So, I mean, that's kind of how I threw the website together. I'm like, you know what? Either it's going to be good or it's not. But I'm going to put it out there right now, and if I end up saying, yeah, this is a good avenue I want to go down, I'll put more money into it. But I think minimal money and starting is the best way to go.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. You're absolutely right about that. And so what are some of the things here that you're starting to dabble in, starting to test the market in? I mean, when you talk about the very beginning steps of starting your business, what are you looking at?
So, I mean, right now, I have 2 or 3 business ideas that I'm trying to narrow down which one I want to start. This one, the website itself, was my first one that I wanted to put out there. I wanted to have a blog where I could just document my journey and talk about the real things that I'm doing and see if I could have a personal brand that would pick up. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. So that was kind of the first thing I wanted to execute on. And obviously you can see I did. The next thing that I'm actually working on is either within 2 different avenues. I have a fashion design background and degree, so I'm looking into doing some sort of apparel product right now. And then also a second avenue I could go down is within travel. Huge passion of mine. I've been traveling my whole life, and then through college, I did a lot of traveling because I did 2 study abroad sessions. So I know a lot about what it's like to independently travel. Like I literally took 2 suitcases, flew to Europe, knocked on someone's door and was like, hi, I'm here. I'm living with you for the next 5 months. Like that was my life. So being vulnerable and being out there and traveling and learning new things while you're by yourself, that's an avenue I'm trying to figure out as well. I just don't have the exact outlet, I think, yet of like a product to offer. So I'm just dabbling with those right now and refining the area I want to go to before I start and take the beginning steps.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think both of those industries are industries that are ripe for disruption, and are industries where you can really get a foothold at it with very little cost to entry, right? So like very little overhead. So like you said, it's like a t-shirt layout with an Adobe Illustrator and things like that. So
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued by the fashion idea, to be honest. I think that when it comes to niche marketing, I mean, the fashion industry is fantastic for it. Like people love wearing clothes that have meaning behind them and sort of represent something to them. And so I really think that that's something to look at and pursue and try to figure out what it is that is kind of will be your niche, or like what your purpose, I guess you could say, because I think that's what drives the sales, and obviously not just to drive sales, but to build that community.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, because actually today I kind of, I guess, just designed something and I ordered it, and I'm going to be releasing a bracelet within the next couple of days. See if people want it, see if they don't.
Sweet.
That is something I'm doing this week.
Cool.
But I guess I told you guys first, and it's not so much a secret anymore.
Oh no, that's fine. We have our first exclusive right here on the People Cooler Than Me show.
Hey, once we have viewers,
I have a bracelet coming out, and it's actually going to be one of the quotes that Gary Vee told me. So we'll see if it catches on, and if it does, maybe I'll do some more bracelets. Maybe I'll go into t-shirts. Maybe I'll go into a motivational line of blunt, do work type things. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. The great thing about that line is that if you're better than everybody else and you have these great designs, it'll sell. And I that's brilliant. So you're going to use a line from that segment. That's brilliant.
Thanks.
Can you give us a hint at which line it is?
It's in the last part.
Okay. Okay.
It's in
Everyone will
the
have
very
to go check
last good chunk.
Okay. Everybody's going to have to go check out the video on YouTube. Again,
Yeah, they're all going to be guessing now. What one is it?
Yeah. The ultimate advice for a 20-year-old by Gary Vaynerchuk on YouTube. Taylor, thank you for the time. We are already way over what I told you it would be, so you got to get back to hustling.
Yeah, I got work to do, guys. I gotta go.
your Instagram is probably blowing up right now because you haven't published anything.
You have no idea. I'm trying to reply to everyone, but honestly, I think it's just impossible at this point unless I do it for an entire day. But
yeah, you're doing a great job. You applied because you put something out there for collaboration, and I'm like, man, I've had this show in my head, and I maybe I just need to get it out there, and so I
do it.
Yeah, we're doing work right now, at least for me. So.
We're all doing work.
Yeah, so I appreciate it, and we'll go ahead and sign off. But you are officially cooler than me, so thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.